Junior Witter, the hitter, very well-known face in British boxing. Won everything, basically. British, Commonwealth, European, WBC world title. You've slightly gone off the radar last couple of years. Why is that?
Just life. It's right place, right time. Still, my face didn't fit all that well. So it happens.
Right. We've been talking about a book. You've got an amazing story. I know because I watched you through everything. And there's some big talking points with your career. Ricky Hatton.
Definitely.
It's almost like you were Carl Froch and Groves, Nigel Benn Eubank, but you and Ricky Hatton never fought. But and this wasn't a year or two. This was 10 years why the fight never happened. There's the Mayweather fight, which you had a couple of times. There's a lot of things in your career that no one knows about. And have you been asked to do a book before?
I was considering it a couple of years ago. Spoke to a couple of writers. Well, spoke to one particular, and then just fade out, and it never got any further.
Right, and I think now, as I've just said, the time's right. It will be controversial. It will be, you're not a fighter who's kind of lost his way in life and, fell on drink, drugs and all that. But there's a lot to talk about. And you lived a life as a fighter, didn't you? You were active and all these big fights never happened. Why was that?
The politics, life, face fit. I was around, I was active. I was wanting these fights. I was asking for these fights. I never shied away from any fight. It was always, we'll do that. They said, someone asked me if I said, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, politics, that's a big thing in boxing, isn't it? People
Huge.
don't see.
It's a huge thing in boxing. It's absolutely huge. It's massive now. It was, in some respects, bigger before.
Yeah.
When I came through, it was harder. There was no social media. Yeah. People didn't get to hear the boxer's point of view. You only heard what the promoter put out. Now things have changed.
Yeah. So what does Junior Witter do now then? What are you doing now?
I've got a few things going. I've got an amateur and I've got pro and amateur boxing club. So I've got amateurs.
So amateurs and pros?
Yes, I've got a stable of amateurs coming through.
How many Cardiff fights have you got?
I've probably got about 10 at the minute.
Right. What's the club called?
Witter's Boxing Club.
Right. Where they're based?
Rotherham, Eastwood.
Right.
Does quite well. I've got fighters like Dom Hunt. I've got Matt Hunter. A kid I've just signed up called Alex Taylor. I've got another kid I've just signed up. What's he called now? Lewis Palmer. Nicole Campbell. So I've got like 5 pros.
Right.
I'm active within that. So even though I haven't been active on social media, because I'm not active as I need to be, and I've not been in the spotlight, I've been working hard behind the scenes.
That's decent to have 5 pros. There's not many, And what are your plans to build an empire, to be bigger and?
Yeah, I want to bring pros through. I mean, I want to bring people through, get them chances, getting British, Commonwealth, European, world title shots.
Because we were talking earlier, Junior, and for all you did in the sport, when we talk about a book, but there's a lot of things that probably, if people could read your story and not make the same mistakes, isn't it? Like,
there's definitely some mistakes I made and things that I would definitely like to have done different.
Is this something that you can see now for your fighters and think, hang on a minute, might have happened to me, but I'm not letting you do that.
I'm not letting my fighters make the mistakes I made. Yeah, and I'm explaining to them what they need to do, not to do and make mistakes, where to make the money, how to make the money, what they need to do, and how active they need to be. Then on top of that, so I've got all that, and then I've got a company which I customise boxing boots, Switch Hitter Customs.
Right.
So I did Billy Joe Saunders boots before. I've done Kel Brooks, Kid Galahad's. There's a good few fighters I've done already.
Do you have any business pages for that? I'll put in the links.
Yeah, we're on Instagram. there's Instagram links. There's a Facebook page.
Right.
Have we got a web page? It's a website as well.
Right. And that's, what's the name? Sorry.
Switch Hitter Customs.
Right. So, so really, you know, your future, even though you're retired now, you hung your gloves up 6 years ago. Your future still very much is in boxing, isn't it? Is it the only thing you know? You can't teach your dog new tricks.
No, it's not that. There's other things I could do, but I'm happy doing that, and I'm happy doing. The personal achievement you get from seeing someone achieve what they didn't think they could. Seeing a kid come through, getting him in his first fight. Matt Hunter, when I got him his first actual pro fight, he's been with Engel's since he was 14. Turned pro with them, didn't box for them. Got him with me, got him his license, got him out. He boxed just before beginning of lockdown. And that achievement for him on that night was him winning a world title. And the enjoyment I got out of him fighting beats anything.
Really?
I mean, yeah, because it's...
Even your personal achievement?
Probably not.
Yeah.
but for future goals, yeah, I mean, that for him doing that is him winning a world title, getting that first fight out of the way. That means he's been dreaming about it since he was a kid. He's worked hard tirelessly, always fit, always game, always wanting it, not backed away from anything. And he's just not had the opportunity. So I finally got the opportunity and he took it, got a win, and he's just waiting for his next one.
Yeah, it's a big commitment with your boxing, but I mean, it's something you're building an empire now with amateurs and pros.
Yeah.
You've been in the game at all levels, Junior. You know, we were talking earlier about your career, and there's one hell of a booking you made. There really, really is. You know, but regarding the future, I mean, you know, everything in boxing is, you know, what else are you going to do now at this age when you've been involved in boxing since you were 10, 11?
11, I think I started. I think 1985, 86. Long time. A lot of experiences, a lot of personal goals, seen a lot of things, learnt a lot of things, forgot a lot of things, relearnt them. And it's been an absolutely brilliant experience.
Do you know what? You can see the fighters who've lost everything and they've been shafted here and there. But it sounds, obviously, spend a bit of time with you now. It sounds like boxing's been good to you.
It's had its ups and its downs. I mean, I'm not saying I've been shafted here and there, and I've missed out on some brilliant deals, and I didn't get the big fights when I should have done.
Yeah, through no fault of your own.
But I've gained in who I am. I'm happy with me. I'm happy with my achievements. I'm not like, I could have done this and I could have done that and I didn't give it a go. I gave it a go. Yeah. And sometimes it came off, didn't work out, and then sometimes it really did.
Was there any other top fighters from Bradford?
Richard Dunn was the one who boxed Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. But he wasn't a world champion, was he?
No. There's been no world champions.
Right.
Yeah,
so that's pretty much fair to say that you're probably the icon of Bradford City regarding that pinnacle of the sport, you know, like kind of...
Yeah, no, definitely. We've had good fighters come through. We had Bobby Vanzi, did all right. Craig Joseph did all right, got beat by Bomber. But I'm the only one who's gone through and done the lot.
And are you what's that thing Johnny Nelson says? I am the gym. Would you say you were a
product of the gym?
Yeah. Of that famous Engel gym?
I am and I'm not, because I had my style.
But you had a very Engel style, though.
But I had my style before I went there.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't
like
go
that
there.
The same.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll see it. That's how I boxed, and I went there. And what Brendan did with me was he helped put foundations under some stuff I was doing, and he supported me and showed me the support what I needed within how I trained. So he put footings where sometimes they want, and then I adapted and grew what he did and made it mine. And I was different, and I switched more than anybody else ever has in the world.
Yeah, you were. I mean, the Engel fighters, but you more so. I mean, Nassim Ahmed, you couldn't hit him with a handful of gravel, and you've that there. Your Ryan Rhodes, your Johnny Nelsons, your Kell Brooks, your Kid Galahads, your Nassim Ahmeds, your Harold Grahams, John Thaxton's. You could go on and on and on, couldn't you? Like,
Yeah,
Asian Pickerins and
yeah. Listen, when I were in that gym, if you walked into the gym and there wasn't 2 champions training on a night, you would come to the wrong night, because that was unusual, completely unusual. You always had champion. Thaxton, yeah, everybody you just mentioned. You got like Andrew Facey, and I'm just like, the amount of champions we had in that gym at any given time, was unreal. Paul, I think I think it was like 4 world champions it turned out, 8 or 10 European champions, 15 to 20 British champions, and Commonwealth champions, intercontinental.
You don't normally get that amount of success unless it's in London. So for a Yorkshire gym to do that,
yeah. And the thing is, what normally happens is people who are champions come to that gym as champions. Most of them fighters, what we're talking about, came to that gym with nothing and made themselves champions. We fed each other, we pushed each other, we took ourselves to the top.
Yeah, so you're around a lot of people, Nassim Ahmeds and all this, and I dare say what a story yours would have been. Unfortunately, you are tied to almost Ricky Hatton forever. Like, it's like man and wife. And, as I said, I'm quite surprised totally, actually. This wasn't a year or 2 years. I was talking to Michael Hunter a couple of years back, and he said that fight was billing. And I thought, Asian Pickering in... it was 2005, but that fight was on the go from 2003, 2004. That was you and Hatton. It was like 10 years.
It was a decade. I first talked about that fight with Frank Warren, I think in 98, 99. And it never that fight still gets talked about now. It is the biggest fight
that never was.
The degenerate in the last
21st century. In Britain. Obviously you've got your Khan Brook, which is quite similar, but I don't think it's on the level. This Khan Brook's been going. It's certainly not at the level that you and Hatton, and you always wanted it, and Hatton didn't. And I'm not going to go around, I'm not going to drag you into a corner where you start talking about people, but it obviously will get covered very deeply in your book, won't it? Your biography.
Oh, it's got to. Yeah, I mean,
there's a full chapter on it. People don't understand what the reasons were, and.
No, people don't understand that. They don't understand how easy that fight was to be made, and the things and who stopped that fight.
And because he was such a darling of the British crowd, you were seen as the bad guy. You were the Darth Vader. Which everyone loved Ricky because he's a good guy, but you were the opposite. You were in the.
It's funny because people always say I was the opposite, but that's because they never got to see me.
Yeah. They
got to see the highlighted clips, and it's like when you see a film and you see them little clips, and from that you think you know what's going to happen, but it ain't, and it doesn't mean it's going to be a good film because it's got a good highlight reel, Whereas with me, because they had that highlight reel where I was always the bad guy, they thought that's what I was.
Did you play up with that pantomime villain tag though a bit?
Yeah, of course I did.
It's a bit like Derek Chisora. He really plays up to that bad guy.
It was necessary. When I first came through, it was like the only way you're going to get seen is if you played a good guy, because they've already got a good guy.
Yeah.
They don't need another good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they've got one who's connected with the football, who already sells, that's an easy sell. You are not going to sell as the good guy. So I ended up in the world's bad guy.
Yeah, and you had to turn up at the press conferences and after his fights and do what you could to get the fight. And unfortunately, I think it's criminal really for the boxing fans that we never got to see it. But so you're now in talks to do a possible biography. Now's the right time to do it.
Yeah, I think so.
How honest and open are you going to be?
As much as I can.
Right. Yeah, and the thing, there's a lot of boxers out there who win titles playing snakes and ladders. You were the British, Commonwealth, European. You did everything that was asked, and then you even went back over and started from scratch and won British titles to then try and you know. So there's not many, a lot of boxers who wouldn't have done that, you know. Once you get to a certain level, you don't find the dedication to do that. You did that, and you lived the life, and you were, you know, I've asked you there. I think that's why you were late developing your career, weren't you?
But listen, it's simple. I never stopped training. So I was always dedicated to the sport. And yes, we all fall out with stuff at certain times, but I never stopped training. I never had 6 months, 2 year out the ring, and I've gone away and put 6 stone on and really ballooned up or anything. So I was always confident that when I get in the ring, I can perform.
Yeah. Well, Junior, you've been kind of off the scales last couple of years, but that's something you've chosen. But you're gonna, you know, listen. If you do a biography, there's people are gonna have opinion. If people have opinions on you anyway, right? But if you then go in the limelight and say, "Well, hang on, wasn't this one that?" You're gonna, you know, cause a lot of controversy. But it's all about opinions, and you know, I know how good your story is. One, because I watched a lot of it, and two, we've had chats today. But so I think, you know, the next couple of years, people are going to see probably a bit more Junior Witter, aren't they?
Yeah, they are going to see a different side to me that a lot of people haven't seen and don't know, and what they think they know. But
and anyone who's watching this now on YouTube, how can they get in touch for any business opportunities or, you know, anything?
It's Witter's Boxing Club. So that's at Gmail. So that's where to email me. We have a Facebook page, Switch It Customs. We've got a Facebook page and Instagram page as well. So
right, I'll put the links in this video. So all you've got to do is click on it. Junior, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting, and watch your space for our biography.
I think you should.